Hello everybody, this is Tim Hall and I would like to share a PowerPoint I've prepared to introduce myself to you guys. First off, I'm from Pike County, the largest county in Kentucky by land size, and also the easternmost county. And the county seat of Pike County is Pikeville, and I'm hoping my cursor shows up, but on the right side of this picture I'm sharing with you is downtown Pikeville. And again, I hope my cursor is showing up, but this is US 23, which bypasses the town, and right here, right in the middle, that used to all be hillside. And what we did is we moved a mountain, excuse me, and rerouted a river to keep the town from flooding. A fun fact about the Pikeville Cut Through project, this is a better picture of it, is that it is the second largest earth moving project, only second to the Panama Canal. Also known is the Hatfield McCoys, that was partly in Pike County, also in West Virginia. And Hillbilly Days, it's an annual festival, well except for this year, that the Shriners Hospital puts on, and it's a fundraiser for the Children's Hospital. I said Shriners Hospital, but I meant the Shriners put it on for the Children's Hospital. Also, Pike County is known for coal mining. At one point in time, we were one of the largest coal producers. Not anymore. And we were known as America's energy capital. That's, as most of y'all realize now, is on the downhill slide now. But specifically talking about where I'm from in Pike County is Virgie. Virgie is about 13-14 miles south of Pikeville, and this is the actual picture, by the way. And as you can see, these are coal camp houses. What would happen when a coal company would move in to mine? They would build houses all the same for the miners' families to rent, and that's how Virgie got its start. This is a picture that was kind of the center of Virgie. It's the Virgie High School, and you can't read it, I'm sorry, but it says Virgie School 1939. That's when it was built. And another thing you won't be able to see, but it's interesting to know, is the bomb shelter signs that were located just off the front doors there. And that was for World War II in case there was a bombing. This was a place everybody could go for shelter. Later on in the 90s, it shut down as a high school. They consolidated two high schools and moved them to Shelby Valley High School, and they opened this place up as a middle school. It has since, I believe of 2013, shut down as a middle school, and now it is located behind the high school as Valley Elementary, which is a K-8 school now. Since I've talked about coal mining, no, that's not a picture of me, that's my sister, but that's my dad, and that just gave me a little insight of my life is, you know, Dad coming home out of the mines, because that's what a lot of people did for a living in eastern Kentucky. You could not even have a high school degree and make pretty good money at it. Now this is a picture of my home place. It's several years old. The picture is. This house was actually my great-grandfather's house. It was built in 1925. It's a very unique house, but it actually had a couple of twins. My great-grandfather's sister also built a house just like it, and a lot of people just love the wraparound porch. And you got to remember, there was no electricity in eastern Kentucky at the time it was built, nor were there indoor plumbing. So that's all been added, of course, but still, if you look at it now, like the B-board, just things of the time remind you of it, and I just loved it and thought I would share it with you guys. This is a picture of me and my family, well, my grandparents, my mother's parents. They used to come over almost daily, and that just kind of shows you in eastern Kentucky, and I'm sure other places as well, but the family unit and how strong it was. This rocking chair was also my great-grandfather's. I thought I'd mention it because it's kind of special. And the reason why it's special is because the bottom of it is made from tree bark that's woven. And it's all done by hand. I know this picture is blurry, but another part of Eastern Kentucky was big families. And this is a picture when I was younger. At Christmas time, I had a really big family. Probably 30 or 40 of us, grandkids plus aunts and uncles and stuff. This is a more recent picture of my parents and my sister and me. We went on vacation. And something fun from this year, we went to Curry Beach, I believe is how you pronounce it. And I like to get out and walk around. And we stumbled on to a fort that was from the Civil War called Fort Fisher. And they had a little museum and got to tour that. I just thought that was really fascinating. As far as my hobbies, love cars. I've since sold this car, but this was one of my babies. I was always doing something to it. I actually went to school for vocational school for 2 years. But that's not what I ended up doing. This one cut off, but we'll go with it. This is one of my dad's cars. He restored it himself. He painted it, did all the stuff to it. It wasn't like he paid somebody else to do it. So I really look up to my dad because he is so talented at doing stuff like that. And he's taught me several things as well. Again, this is cut off, but I know it's kind of hard to tell. But another one of my hobbies was I actually have a degree in science and social studies, middle grade education. And this is the more science part of me, but we actually built this. When I was substitute teaching, I went with a first grade classroom and I actually built this planetarium, and on the inside we used a projector and we broadcast the night sky onto the top of this planetarium. The kids loved it, I loved it. Good situation. This is another picture of my dad. I was helping him paint this car. He actually found this in a barn, I believe it was in Boyd County, towards Catlettsburg. He found it, bought it at an estate sale. Actually had to bid on it, didn't even think he was going to get it, then ended up getting it. And there was a lot of history with the car, actually. In the glove compartment was a letter wrote from, I believe it was somebody serving in the Army, and they kept it in their glove compartment. And we actually tracked the owner down and sent her pictures of the car after he fixed it up. I hate that all my pictures are cut off, but another thing I like to do, especially in the summertime where I'm a teacher, I like to garden. And this is just one example of me and my mother. We like to can tomatoes and things like that, make pickles, do jams and jellies and things like that. Again, cut off, but the house you see behind this car is my grandparents' house that I own it now. The car in front is another one of my hobbies. A guy actually gave this car to my dad just to get it out of his yard because it didn't run. And I worked on it till I got it running, painted it, and that's the car I took to my senior high school graduation. Now this picture, these are not just general pictures, this is Eastern Kentucky up on a strip job. The picture on the right is just a general picture. I think it's always beautiful to go on the top of the mountain. But the picture on the left is actually my neighborhood. And if my cursor is showing up, that house right there is the house I live in now. Like I said, big family and tradition follows. Every year we get together and we make cookies with all the family. Since I live in the home place, I always host for everybody to come over and make something, kind of share memories with them. And like I said before, I am a teacher. I teach world history to freshmen, grade 9, at Shelby Valley High School. And these are just a few pictures of my classroom. I had them do propaganda posters, and I've got a timeline up around the top of the room. Probably not the fanciest classroom, but it's a great classroom, I think. Another thing I'd like to share with you all, this is something I did in my spare time. Our librarian wanted to digitize the some albums he had. So he was asking members of the community to, if they had old albums, to bring them in and we would scan them. So the way I was trying to scan them didn't work, so I just ended up taking pictures of the book because the person who owned the book wanted it back really quick. But this is a album from 1951 from Virgie High School, the building that you all seen at the beginning of this presentation. And I forgot to put the picture in here with the phone numbers, but the phone numbers were like 29 or 301 back when they had something called party lines, where multiple people would share the same phone line, and phone numbers were like 2 digits or 3 digits. And all the advertisements in it were written. I just thought it was really cool to share. And now, part of the assignment was, what schools do you most identify with? And this is a picture of Shelby Valley High School, the one in the foreground. This is where I work. This is where I graduated. And the school in the back is the new elementary school. I believe it opened in 2013. And it consolidated Virgie Middle School and 2 elementary schools. And 2 subjects that interest me the most in social studies is world history, which, to be honest, at first I really didn't think I was going to like world history as far as teaching it as much as I do. But I really enjoy it, especially the second semester when we start talking about the world wars and the Cold War. And the other topic I would have to pick would be American history. It's always been a special interest of mine. And actually, I did my student teaching in an 8th grade classroom, which was, American history. Loved it. And that's all I wanted to teach. But then when I got this job teaching world history at the high school level, I just fell in love with it. But those would be my top 2 favorites. Anyhow, hope I ain't talked your ear off or anything like that, but that's me in a nutshell. Tim Hall, Pike County guy here.